Hello world, I'm here sitting on my floor with a camera perched on a chair to try and get you some decent light, some decent quality video, and to try and make me look a little bit better than I normally do. So I hope you like it. The purpose of this video is to comment on the new 2018 Giles Martin remixes of the White Album, which are going to be released on the 9th of November to coincide with the album's 50th anniversary. Now, 1968 was the year that I was born, and so therefore, for me, it's probably quite a significant release, but I question it, as I always do. If you bought any of the new White albums based on the 2009 stereo remasters, either on vinyl, if you bought the mono that was based on the original source tapes rather than the digital remasters, then you're actually got a very, very good White Album that was mixed and mastered in a way that tried to remain as faithful to the 1968 mixes as is possible to get in 2018, whatever. Okay, I question the need for this album. I'll say it again. I question the need for this album. I don't think that Giles Martin really needs to fiddle with it anymore. It's actually a damn good mix, especially the stereo mix. The mono mix is a bit lackluster. By 1968, a lot had changed. In the 15 months since Sgt. Pepper was released, where Sgt. Pepper, the definitive mix of that is most definitely the mono mix. All kinds of different effects and little nuances are present on the mono that just simply aren't there in the stereo mix, and it's probably because the stereo mix was done slightly rushed, not incredibly rushed. There's certainly evidence, for example, that with things like A Day in the Life, the Beatles themselves were there for the mono mixing and the stereo mixing, and therefore what was released was authorized by them. But yeah, the mono mix of Sgt. Pepper is the definitive one. By the time we're getting around to the White Album, it's the stereo mix that is the definitive mix, and the Beatles had an awful lot of input into it. Okay, so let's just see what Giles Martin, or what the blurb says about Giles Martin. This is taken from Amazon. Okay, and it's basically the there's a 2 double album set, i.e. a 4 LP set. Okay, so what we've got here, it's the first time the Beatles has been remixed and presented with additional demo recordings. To create the new stereo audio mixes for the White Album, Giles Martin and Sam O'Kell, who, remember, did the 2009s and the subsequent vinyl albums that came from there, and they worked with an expert team of engineers. I hope they did. I hope they did. I hope all bands work with an expert team of audio engineers. And audio restoration specialists at Abbey Road Studios in London. This 4 LP deluxe White Album release includes Martin's new stereo album mixed, sourced directly from the original 4-track and 8-track session tapes. In other words, the same as what's already been released. Martin's new mix is guided by the album's original stereo mix produced by his father, George Martin. So in other words, it's not going to be significantly different. Half speed cut by Miles Showell at Abbey Road Studios. During the last week of May 1968, the Beatles gathered at George's house, that's George Harrison's house, in Esher, Surrey, where they recorded acoustic demos for 27 songs. Known as the Esher demos, all 27 recordings are included in the 4 LP deluxe package, sourced from the original 4-track tapes. Presented in a lift-top box 4-page booklet, It's an abbreviated thing. The CD version has a full book, and this 4-page booklet is basically an abbreviation of that. The limited edition deluxe 4LP vinyl set presents the 2LP album in a faithful embossed reproduction of its original gatefold sleeve, with the fold-out poster and portrait photos. Who needs more copies of the fold-out poster and portrait photos? You certainly don't if you've already got a copy of the White Album that's full. But there you go. I mean, I've got 3 sets of those blooming photos now, I think. Paired with the 2LP Isha demos in an embossed gatefold sleeve. All right. Now the Isha demos, they're interesting, but they're not what the Beatles put out. They're demos for demo reasons. Another website I read about had a quick sort of list of what's on there. One of the points of interest being that you'll hear a song called Child of Nature, which is John's original version of Jealous Guy. Jealous Guy was released in 1971 on John Lennon's Imagine LP. He'd completely rewritten the words, probably because, and you can hear Child of Nature on YouTube. There is a video of that being played, and it is crap. The words are crap. The tune's all there, including the song structure, but it is crap. That's why it was not put out. That's why the Beatles were the Beatles, because they recognised when things were good enough to be released and when they weren't ready to be released, and all of them were very good self-censors of their own material. I'm sure Paul McCartney is at the moment probably quite happy to have all that stuff released, probably because it enriches him just a bit more. The same with Ringo. I'm sure he's quite happy because he needs a few pennies more in his coffers. But for the rest of us, it's only a curio that you'll listen to once. How many people have bought Sgt. Pepper in all its new Giles Martin stereo remixes and listened to those demos more than once? I know that I've only played the demo LP of the Sgt. Pepper double LP as it was released last year. I've only played it once. So yeah, I really think that, you know, if you've got anthologies coming out of your ears and stuff like that, you really don't need to hear all this stuff that was really the Beatles trying things out. And as Paul McCartney said, when he did a discussion at with well, who was it? Jarvis Cocker. He did a discussion with Jarvis Cocker. Again, you can see that on YouTube. And he said, when you songwrite, you get as far away from civilization as possible. You do not want the world to hear you making your mistakes. And I think that this recording or new thingy probably flies in the face of that. Will I buy it? Probably. I'll probably buy, if I buy anything, I'll buy the thing. What you can get the original White Album remixed by Giles Martin. That's about 40 quid. You can get the original album plus this set of Isha demos, the one that I read to you about there, on a 4 LP set, and it's 90 quid. So yeah, it's a bit expensive, and you can get, for about 125 quid or something, you can get a full 6 CD set that has the original double album, it has the Isha demos, it also has a whole load of session recordings as well on another umpteen discs. How many people will actually just discard that and just go for the normal White Album and listen to that? it beggars belief, really. I do think that this is a bit of a cash-in opportunity. I don't necessarily think it's essential for every Beatles collector. I'll be curious to hear it, so I'll probably buy the double album, and it'll probably be very good because Giles Martin is very good. I can't imagine it being absolutely significantly different from the stereo mixes that are already available. Yes, the stereo mixes in 1968 were still slightly weird, but they have begun to be standardised. A lot of the songs have the vocals in the centre at least. Yes, Back in the USSR, for example, is slightly biased towards the right channel. Don't know why. And yes, you've got issues like that to deal with, which they'll probably sort out and correct. But other than that, I really don't see the need for this mix at all. I'm a bit cynical. Okay, all right, I will see you later. Ta-ra!